Good afternoon, dear audience. My name is Yuliia Hunchenko, and I'm here to present a report based on the scientific article by a group of authors, namely Viktoriia Dobrovolska, Lyudmila Cherednyk, and Yuliia Hunchenko, under the name Modern Library as a Socio-Cultural Space. The article reveals relevant for modern realities issues of library activities transformation and their entry into the social and cultural space. The library is one of the oldest cultural institutions. Over the long period of human history, social functions of the library have undergone significant changes, both external and internal. And in the modern information society, the latest technologies penetrating into all spheres of our life cause fundamental shifts in the socio-cultural and electronic foundations of social existence. All of this encourages libraries to adapt to new conditions, rethink their main tasks, and qualitatively change their activities. Nowadays, the most important objectives of these cultural institutions is to provide information to different segments of the population. And now we can observe the process of library transformation and their gradual turning into a social institution that contains information, communication, and cultural components, as well as ensures stability of connections and relations within society. All of the mentioned above makes the topic extremely relevant. The purpose of this report is to highlight the activity of libraries as one of the oldest socio-cultural institutions in different periods of historical development, consider the functioning of book collections and the peculiarities of their innovative activity in the conditions of information society and transformation into a socio-cultural space. If you look back in history at the library activities, we'll see that they have been the centers of education, enlightening people, collecting information, collecting books, and passing them on to further generation. How has the library activity changed over time? Let me introduce some statistical data to you. Nowadays, there are currently almost 16,000 libraries in Ukraine. This indicator, by the way, is one of the largest in Europe. There are 3.5 thousand libraries in Italy and 9,000 in Germany. However, Ukrainian libraries nowadays are on the threshold of searching for new ways and possibilities of functioning due to the new conditions of the information society existence, and therefore face the need to transform their activities. Library institutions in Ukraine are actively working towards this goal, studying the experience of foreign countries. Great Britain, for instance, can be considered one of the brightest international examples of public libraries functioning under today's conditions. Their libraries are characterized by existence of various free zones, where it is possible not just to read, but to be engaged in different activities. Local communities play an important role in the process, and therefore the example of the British deserves attention. Modern conditions dictate the need to change the usual understanding of library with traditional mission that has long been considering the spread of literacy, culture, and access to information and knowledge. But in order to survive in a globalized society, libraries must find new forms of work and change their focus. On this slide, you may see the quotation by Neil Gaiman. The authors have chosen this very quotation because it reflects such an important characteristic of a modern library as freedom, freedom of reading, of freedom of expressing ideas, freedom of communication, and education, which makes people interested, continuously, ongoingly interested in education. Modern library is an important socio-cultural center that will play a decisive role in shaping the worldview of citizens and contribute to the intellectual and moral and aesthetic development of society in general. This slide presents innovative forms of library work. In order to function under new conditions, libraries have to provide new innovative activities such as book crossing, book trailer, information briefing, coaching, quests for working, and so on. On this slide, you may see uh, some of the explanations of innovating form of works which are gaining popularity now. For example, a book crossing, which is a movement of a book according to the principle read and pass on to others, or a quest, an intellectually dynamic game which combines sport orientation, solving intellectual tasks, etc. Or for example, co-working. That's a model of work under which participants, while remaining independent and free, use common space for their activities. Speaking about modern libraries, it's impossible without focusing on electronic libraries, which recently have been called the libraries of the 21st century and are gaining popularity in Ukraine and all over the world. Creation of electronic libraries, according to scientists, is one of the main directions of the information sphere and an important indicator of the development of the information society. It is also worth noting that development of libraries in the network environment reflects modern views of the changing role of a traditional library as a social and cultural institution. On the slide, you may see that electronic libraries as information system contain fund of electronic resources, catalog of electronic resources fund, and a complex of hardware and software tools that support the search system stable operations and provide possibility of prompt replenishment, registration, long-term storage of the electronic library fund, and distribute access to it via internet. The next slides contain three tables. Have a look at them. The first of them is called non-commercial digital project of foreign country. The next is Ukrainian library digital projects and international digital projects in which Ukrainian documents are presented. The structure of the tables is as follows: the project name, the owner or the founder, the content, the resource, address or website address. Information collected here by the authors is to focus the viewer's attention on the numerous digital projects where Ukraine is the founder or the author of the project, and the projects are currently of vital importance. Let me now pay attention to the new e-library created by Mozart Group. The library is rather unusual. It has been recently created in the summer of 2022 and is called the Mini Library of Ukrainian Military. It is made for defenders of Ukraine. The library exists in the form of a website and a mobile application for Android. It contains information about weapons, tactics, medicine, explosives, contains video books on how to use different types of weapons. There are manuals on the defense of cities in modern conditions, disposal of explosive objects, and etc. The founder of Mozart Group commented the purpose of the platform. Knowledge is vital on the front lines and near the front lines. On the level with weapons, they can help the military destroy the enemy and win. So it's difficult to underestimate the importance of such projects for the military. Virtual libraries can be focused to have applications on a specific subject. Majority of electronic libraries are created on the basis of traditional ones with the corresponding conversation into electronic format and organization of remote access to them. Now there is an interesting process taking place when librarians come together to discuss important issues of media literacy, of development of information technologies in modern book collections, on exchanging experience and promote reading. And all of that also as well takes place in the blog format, because annually, every year, the number of users of the internet blogs increases due to easiness of representing information and due to the relevance of information. And one of the options of internet resource is formation of library blogosphere, uh, which also contributes to the popularity of blogs and popularity of reading. And let me make a conclusion. Libraries have all the opportunities, wide opportunities, and right to exist in our globalized society. Today's library is a time of books and the combination of internet. Transformation of libraries into social and cultural institution of modern society is of vital importance. Virtual information space of library institutions formed to meet the information needs of users includes such virtual representations as sites, blogs, pages of user group in popular social networks, etc. Libraries is not only our past and present, libraries are also now our future. Thank you for attention.